wonderful ones. Welcome to your practice. This is just going to be a lovely restorative chill today, an opportunity to quiet and to turn inward. So gather your props if you have some. If you have a bolster, then we'll use that. If you have a block or 2 blocks, have those. Or if you don't have any props, that's okay. You can still enjoy this practice without any props, and I'll be there for you too. Okay, so we'll get seated today. So I'll meet you in a comfortable cross-legged seat, Sukhasana, with the right leg in front. And if you can, cross the center of the shins and have the feet moving towards opposite knees, so we can get just a little bit into the outer hips as we ease forward into our supported forward fold. So if you have a bolster, you'll take that and bring that in front of you, and we'll just gently start to ease forward, stack the forearms and rest the head. And if you have a block or blocks, then we'll just do the same thing, but with the blocks, placing them a good distance in front of you and resting the forearms, stacking the forearms and resting the forehead. And if you only have one block, that's perfect too. Then you might just lean forward on the hands or on the forearms and adjust the position of the block so that the forehead can just rest comfortably on the block, giving the skull and the forehead something to rest on is a really lovely, soothing thing to do. And if you have no props today, then just gently leaning forward on the hands or the forearms and allow the head to droop forward like a beautiful sunflower that's coming to the end of its days and is just starting to drop its head a little away from the sun. So letting the weight of the head fall. And you can even come up onto the elbows and rest the forehead in the palms of the hands. That's a lovely option too. So ease on in and let's get settled in our first shape today. And just starting to feel the sensation of not needing to interact with the world around you. Turning away from the external world and just knowing that you don't have to engage, perform, interact, that you can take refuge with the head dropping, perhaps the eyes closing, the jaw softening. We'll be here for another minute, and I'd love to give you some pockets of silence today. So there'll be moments of quiet too, without you hearing from me. Take 2 more slightly deeper breaths here. And when you're ready, perhaps on your next inhalation, gently press yourself upright. Lift the torso and just take a moment to sit tall, maybe hands on the lap or fingertips on the mat or the floor, and Notice what's changed, what's present for you now. Taking a moment to pause between sides, just like a full stop, acknowledging what has just come before we move on to the next thing. And take your time to just switch sides. So bring the other leg in front, the left shin in front, center of shins crossed, feet towards opposite knees. And if that's actually really challenging for you, maybe you're feeling really tight in the hips today and the knees are floating up, it's totally okay if you need to just cross the ankles instead, crossing the left ankle in front of the right ankle. And let's just ease forward again. So using these lovely forward folds and the support of our blocks or block or bolster or arms to allow us to sort of turn in and cool and calm and quiet. Classically, or in the yoga traditions, forward folds are often said to be grounding, calming, cooling. And that may not be the case for you. So let's just acknowledge what's present for us today, not needing things to be a particular way. And we'll spend about another minute here on this side, just allowing the thighs and the shins to sink. The feet and the toes are really effortless. The back body's leaning into the front body and the front body's leaning toward the legs, the support of the bolster, the blocks, the support of earth. We'll take 2 more slightly deeper breaths here. On your next in-breath, let's gently rise once again. Sit tall a moment, rest the hands, just feeling the globe of the head settling atop of the spinal column and allowing the sediment to settle. Okay, let's come into a very gentle inversion now, a very gentle supported downward facing dog. So we'll take our bolster or our blocks, and if you're using the bolster, we'll use the bolster to support the forearms. So just pop the bolster horizontally across the mat, hands in front of the bolster and forearms just resting supported slightly by the bolster, and then tuck the toes, lift the hips and find this downward dog. And depending on your bolster and your proportions, The head might even rest on the bolster. And that's not the case for me with my bolster and my proportions, but it might be for you. Or if you have a block, you might prefer instead to use the block to rest the forehead onto, and just place the block in front of you and hands on mat, tuck the toes, lift the hips and adjust the hands and the feet so that when you let the head go, the forehead rests comfortably on the block. If you don't have a block or a bolster, that's okay. Just take a really easy downward dog with me. We'll be here for a minute now. And whether you're using block or bolster or nothing at all, there's this sense of the upper body just leaning with minimal effort against the lower body. And the lower body leaning against the upper body. Soft, easeful breaths. And you might even encourage fuller exhalations, just elongating the exhalations slightly. Another 2 or 3 more breath cycles. And when you're ready, we'll gently lower the knees to the mat. Sit the hips back on the heels. Take a moment to just sit upright in Vajrasana. You might close the eyes. This expression or this gesture of turning inward, or you might just gently, softly look outward like an open-eyed meditation. Taking in the light, taking in the objects in your space. And let's move from here into a gentle child's pose. So you might have knees just a little wider than the hips, and we'll use our props again. So if you have a bolster, we'll use it very much the same way that we did in our seated cross-legged forward fold. Just placing it across the mat in front of us, stacking the forearms, the hands, and resting the forehead. Or you might do the same thing with your 2 blocks, placing the blocks on the mat in front of you on their faces, on their flat edge or their lowest edge. They're all flat edges. Stacking the forearms and resting the forehead. Or if you just had 1 block, you might use the block to rest the forehead on and reach the arms in front of you. And as I rest the forehead on the block here, I'm deliberately actually gently drawing the skin of the forehead slightly down towards the eyes or the bridge of the nose. That can be really helpful for just softening the optic nerve and this turning in away from the world of looking. So choosing your child's pose using whatever props you have available for you or available to you. And we'll settle here again for about a minute or so. Feel the weight of the sacrum and the sit bones anchoring you towards earth, towards the heels. tracing the ebb and flow of the breath as it moves in and out of the body. And if it's helpful for you to just gently, with a light touch, elongate, lengthen the exhalations, then you might do that. Take 2 more delicious breaths here in your child's pose. On your next inhalation, gently press the earth away, the props away, and come upright again. Take a moment upright and just pause. And then we'll make our way down onto our backs and have whatever props you're using nearby. So it might be your bolster, it might be a block or two. We'll place them on the right hand side of your mat as you come down, just so there's not too much effort for you as you make your way onto your back. And we'll begin here with the right leg reaching long on the mat and the left knee drawing in towards the chest, and you might even just interlace the hands in front of the left shin and draw the knee into the body for a moment. And then we'll place our props, either our bolster or our 2 blocks, next to us, so that when we come over into our twist, left knee draws across the body to the right. The left knee, shin and foot can rest just really easily onto the prop. So either using the bolster or a block or 2 and just setting them up in the right place for you. And a nice variation today might be to hold the back of the skull with the right hand as the knee comes across the body and rests on whatever's there. You might need to just adjust the position of the hips a little so that you feel a good distance away from your props. And if you say had only 1 block, then you might just use 1 block and allow the left foot to rest on the floor. Or if you had no props right now, you can just allow the knee to rest and hang a little in the supportive space. And settling in here on this side together. And you might choose to open the left arm out to the left. Or I'm actually going to bring my left hand to rest on the left side ribs today. And as you settle here, again, you might close the eyes and just notice how it feels right now to not need to be doing or to be moving on to the next thing. Allowing yourself to just be. And if you have your hand on the left ribs, you might be noticing the movement of the breath in the body beneath the hand. And you might be just gently encouraging the exhalations to be just a little longer, a little fuller. Another half a minute or so here together. Take one more beautiful cycle of breath here on this side. And we'll gently return to center, coming out of the twist. You might bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, center the pelvis on the mat, and let the hands just fall on the body or alongside the body, and pausing again, pausing between sides. An opportunity to notice what's present again and to honor the transitions as well as the poses. And when you're ready, let's come second side, left leg long, right knee to chest. And you might then just take a moment to shift the blocks or the bolster over to the other side. And when you're ready, let's come on across. Right knee across to the left this time. Left hand might just gently rest behind the back of their skull. And right arm can really do what it likes. It might reach out wide. It might just rest on the right side ribs. You might even just nestle the fingertips into the grooves of the rib basket. And just know that you have time here, time to be. Sometimes it can feel like we're always needing to be turned on, needing to be ready for what's next. So just creating this beautiful refuge for yourself, or cocoon, this time for yourself. Easy breath. Another half a minute or so here. Take one more full breath. And we'll gently journey out of this side, out of this twist, back to center a moment, knees bent, feet to mat, hands resting on the torso. Take a full breath. You might even part the lips on the exhalation and sigh the exhale out of the mouth. So we'll take our last minute or two to just come into a supported Shavasana if you don't have any props, then just stretch the legs away from you and allow the legs to rest long on the mat or the floor. If you have a bolster or 2 blocks, then you might use those today, and you might even need to just sit up to slide the bolster or the blocks behind the knees. So bolster is lovely, but if you don't have a bolster, you can do the same thing with 2 blocks. 2 blocks just at the lower thigh, top of the knee area. And whether you're using the bolster or the block, you can just really allow the knees to roll open a little here. So for many of us, that's more restful. The knees will even perhaps be slightly wider than the feet. And then you can bring the hands behind you, lift the hips, lengthen the tail a little bit away from you towards the heels, towards the feet, and just gently come back down again. Take a moment to settle, to fix, to fidget until everything feels just right. I like the hands resting on the low rib area, but you might prefer hands to lower belly or to earth alongside the body. And there's this sense of really just withdrawing the sensory organs away from the outer world. Perhaps closing the eyelids and allowing the orbs of the eyes to rest back toward the center of the skull. The awareness to travel in, spiraling in through the inner ears toward the center of the skull. The back of the skull heavy, the organ of the brain melting. And just allowing the whole body to sink down. There's this invitation to just encourage, to sense a sinking downward and a spreading outward. For the last minute or so, there's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. No one to be. And if you can stay longer, beautiful one, then you might just allow yourself to luxuriate here a little longer. But if it's time for you to move on, then you can deepen the breath a little and find a little movement in the fingers or the toes, the wrists. We'll bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet either to your bolster, your blocks, or the floor. And gently roll to one side. Use the hands to support you as you press yourself up to find a comfortable seat. And we'll just close mindfully here together. So you might lift the palms and fold the hands And bow the forehead to the fingertips for a moment. Just a gesture of reverence, honoring your practice today, honoring taking this time to turn inward, away from the world of doing, slowing down a little. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you for sharing your practice. Thanks for practicing all the way to the end. Every practice I offer is possible thanks to the support of my patrons. So if you'd like to continue to support me as well as access full-length practices, meditations and pranayama, then sign up on Patreon. Thanks.